Hello and welcome to the 2015 Oncofertility Sudan Academy. My name is Fatima Aldegar and I will be your teacher for this academy. Today I have with me Dr. Teresa Woodruff, who is the head of the Woodruff Lab here at Northwestern University and the head of the Oncofertility Consortium and the creator and director of the Oncofertility Summer Academy.
I want to add my welcome, Fatima, to all of the students in the 2015 Oncofertility Sudan Academy. It's really great to meet you by video conference, and I hope someday to meet you in Chicago.
So let's get started.
Sounds good.
State your position here at Northwestern University.
So I'm a professor in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Northwestern University, and I also direct the Oncofertility Consortium. And the Oncofertility Consortium is a global network of clinicians and basic scientists who are involved in providing fertility options to young cancer patients.
Cool. Tell us about how you got interested in science.
Oh, I got interested when I was a young woman, when I was probably in second or third grade. And my mom was actually teaching a summer science course, just like our summer academies that we're having now. And we had a hands-on experiment where we were looking at earthworms. And so we started looking at each of the different parts of the earthworm, and I thought how fascinating it was that the earthworm had many of the components that our bodies had. And so it was then that I really got hooked on science.
Very cool. Do you ever feel like gender held you back?
You know, sometimes it does. I think sometimes young women don't think of themselves as scientists or as doctors. And so it was really important for me to see, to follow my passion, A, and then when I was in the science pipeline, to look for women who could be my mentors. And I think it's really critical to look for those who have been on the path ahead of you and try and follow in their footsteps. And as soon as you've done that, look back and try and find that next person to follow behind you. So by locking arms, I think we're going to improve this mentoring capacity and eventually have a lot of women in science and medicine.
Good advice to the students.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is oncofertility?
So oncofertility is a new word. And so it really is a word that brings two fields together, oncology and fertility. And the reason I created this word, and in fact this field, is because there weren't options for young women who had a cancer diagnosis and were going to lose their fertility as a consequence of treatment. And it's something we don't often think about. We think about cancer treatment as causing us to lose our hair and our hair follicles, but we never think about the consequences of chemotherapy and radiation on ovarian follicles. And so our work in the laboratory had begun to develop some technologies that would provide a fertility option to young cancer patients. And since there wasn't a field that really brought our colleagues together in oncology and fertility, we basically bridged the two groups with this new science. And that's what's led to this area of oncofertility.
Wow. And how does oncofertility tie in with what you do here at the Woodruff Lab?
So our laboratory is a basic science laboratory. And so every day we're trying to unlock some of these mechanisms by which the ovary controls follicle development. So a follicle, as all of the students will learn soon in your first lecture, is the fundamental unit of the ovary. And when we as women are born, there are 1 million of these follicles within the ovary. And that's the entire population of germ cells that will be available for the entire lifespan of the woman. And so what we try to understand is how that million follicle pool is activated at very specific times over 50 years of life. It's one of those biological questions that's so fascinating that it's kept me busy for my entire career. And a lot of good scientists have come and worked in the lab to try and unravel some of these mechanisms.
So how did you come up with the idea of the Oncofertility Summer Academy?
So the Summer Academy kind of is how I got started in science, with my mom teaching one of the summer classes. And it really became clear to me that there were a lot of young women, just like you, who really wanted to have an opportunity to learn beyond the textbooks. And so in high school, you actually are given books that have all the knowledge, and you can learn, and there are answers that are in the back of the book. And your goal is to learn all those answers and be able to answer questions. What I wanted to offer to young women is what I call vertical learning, where you're actually engaged in answering problems for which we don't know the answer. And so we wanted to bring young high school girls in from across the city of Chicago who really had a passion for science and were willing to come and give up long days at a time in order to participate in our work. And so it's been 10 years that we've had this program. So now we have an entire sisterhood of young women who are sisters in science, linked by the OSA programs, and now the Oncofertility Sudan Academy as well.
What do you want the women from the OSA Sudan flagship to gain from this experience?
Well, I'm so excited that this group, all of you, represent the very first group of young women who will be part of the Oncofertility Sisterhood. So I want you to learn 3 things. One is to always step up. When Fatima asks you to begin to do some of the scientific experiments, never linger back. Always step up. The second thing is to ask questions. Always be ready to learn new knowledge from whoever is ready to teach you. And the third thing is to make sure that you stay engaged, that over time you don't take this one mentoring activity as a singular activity, but you take advantage of it to find new avenues of work that you can participate in, and as well as look back to find someone else that you can mentor along this pathway. Those are the 3 things I hope all of you get out of this program, and I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you at the end of the week.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Woodruff, and I'm very excited to go on this journey with you guys.
Good luck, everyone.